Hey guys, Trevor Williams here with the Victory Performance Podcast. Today's host is me. Today's guest is Hunter Bryant. Played football for UW. Later on, played for Detroit Lions. Had an injury, and I was looking to get back in there. So we were working together for about 2-3 months, something like that. Just thought it'd be a good time for us to chop it up a little bit. It's a little bit of a switch from fighters, because we have the fighters on here. But talking through injury, talking through rehab, and getting back to play is still something very applicable to the fighters that I got as well. So without further ado, how you doing, Hunter?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome, for sure, man. Cool. Let's just jump right into it then. So you played for UW, played for the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of walk me through your journey and how you got to where you were at.
Yeah, so played football my entire life. Was basically like a newborn with a football in my hand. Like that was kind of like my life path set up for me from the joint. Started playing when I was 5 years old, like officially. Took off from there. Ever since I touched the ball, I could just tell like this is what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Kind of trained my whole life. Was pretty good in high school. Had a couple offers, so I can kind of like choose where I wanted to go. Ended up staying home and going to UW, which was a blessing, I think. Met a lot of great people there, had a lot of great teammates, and had a good time. Had a lot of injuries there, not a lot, but 2 major ones.
Okay.
And then ended up playing basically my whole sophomore and junior year with the torn meniscus. Okay. And so, that kind of like wore down my knee a little bit, but I kind of just pushed through all that, not even knowing that it was torn. So, found out right after I left there. Went to the combine. Knee was messed up, but since I just played for 2 years, I ended up not competing, but testing and doing all that there. Okay. Ran good, decently. Not what I wanted to, but not horribly. And then I got a surgery on my meniscus right after the combine. Rehabbed until I really got into camp for my rookie year in Detroit. And then, just started playing there. Popped my hammy, like 5th practice. Came back, got a concussion, like in the bye week. And then played out the last 5 seasons there. Okay. But like week 15, I think tore my ACL, didn't even know. Played out the rest of the season. Came back to Seattle just because I'm from here, it's my home.
Yep.
2 weeks after that, my whole knee just gave up.
Sure.
And then 2 weeks after that, got in a huge car accident. Whole car went under a semi. Top half was gone. God definitely had his hands on me. Brought me through all that.
That story's crazy.
You shouldn't be a while. But and that's kind of like how I knew that this is everything I was supposed to kind of go through.
Yeah.
And so since then, just been healing. Had 2 knee surgeries after the accident, and then the last 2.5 years, it really just been grinding, rehabbing, kind of put my body back together from scratch.
Yeah.
Which was a blessing, honestly.
That's awesome, man. So walk me through that. So, what's that feeling like? You make it to the league, right? Like you've been thinking about this since you were 5, right? And you finally make it, and you just feel like you're getting hit with obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. What's the mentality you have going through something like that? Because I feel like for me, I'd be so frustrated, being like, man, I'm finally here, but I can't really showcase what I got.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times we think, we're gonna get to that main stage, or we're gonna get to our goal, and now it's time to cruise. But for you, man, it just seems like you were just getting hit with, obstacle each way you turn. So walk me through kind of that mentality you had through that.
I think it was a blessing in disguise, because like you said, once we get to that stage, we want to cruise. And I probably would have done that too. I think I was good enough with where I was at, so I could have played 5 to 10 years and not had to really improve my game or really focus on that. And so all the injuries I had really taught me the process of bettering yourself and growing and not really putting a ceiling on it, but always continuing to improve and not being complacent with where you're at.
Yeah.
And so I think it's kind of dope in that sense of the term, and it's cool that I wasn't able to stay complacent and stay in that same spot and get into the mindset where I am good enough, now that I am here.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what all of my interests have taught me, and just continue to learn better ways to improve myself and heal and change and manipulate my bodies in different ways, like the work we've been doing together.
Sure.
So yeah, but I don't know. I have a very positive outlook.
Yeah. Did you always have that, or does that come like retrospectively as you were kind of thinking back on it, or like when you were in it, were you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, you have to. I mean,
Yeah.
I think mentally, especially when you're injured, is so important. Like that's bigger than the work that you're getting done on you, like what the injury actually is. Like if you have a positive mentality, you'll heal twice as fast, but if it's negative, it'll take twice as long.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just plays a huge role into it. So ever since I first hurt myself in college, I kind of gotten just to that always positive outlook. Like, and I knew everything happens for a reason too.
Yeah.
I think my faith in God has grown so much, especially like after every single injury, especially this last one too.
Sure.
But yeah, just knowing that it's all part of His plan, it's all part of my journey, and I'm supposed to be here for a reason.
Yeah. Hey, praise God. I feel that, dog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I had that sense of maturity as I was going through, you know, ending my wrestling career.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have an injury. I was doing my own stupid stuff, you know. Just kind of led me outside of my path of what I wanted to do. But even then, like, now I can retrospectively look back and be like, man, blessing in disguise. God put me in these positions and let me meet these people. And, you know, now I'm doing what I'm doing today. And, you know, like that would have never happened if I continued wrestling. Or even when I thought I was going to go wrestle for another school, like I didn't think none of this would have happened. So I can think about that retrospectively. But when I was in it, I think I was just angry, which definitely made me spiral more. So what you're saying makes so much sense. Like you got to have that positive outlook. Otherwise, you know, the things are just going to kind of spiral out. Our mentality, and not just football, but all sports. And, you know, they talk about in wrestling and fighting a lot, like the match, the bout, like you can be as strong as you possibly can. You can have as much skill, but if you don't have that mentality going into it, you know, it's all mental. So yeah, our brain has a huge pull on what actually happens in our lives, right? So I think that just shows towards your maturity as a person, as an athlete, to be able to grow through that. That's pretty awesome, man.
I appreciate that. And like as you go through stuff too, like you get more mature with time.
Yeah.
So I think especially now, like you're able to see the blessing in the midst of the trial instead of just after.
Yeah.
So like the more stuff you go through, that just grows in.
For sure, man. And I see that in you as, you know, we've been working with each other. Just like your outlook on everything we're doing, and I know you could easily look at things and be frustrated with, you know, I'm not back. Because how long ago have you been out now?
It's like 980 days.
Yeah, like you're like you got down to the days, dog. Like, you know, so I know there's a piece of you that's just like longing, right? But every time you come in, you're like, man, this piece is feeling better. This piece is feeling better. Like we're getting closer. And so it's just been really awesome to watch you through that journey. So kind of speak towards your rehab, like when you were on the team, did you have like facilities and stuff you would go to, or people you'd see, and how did that journey go? And I know we kind of talked about after that when you were on your own, you know, you just kind of were doing stuff by yourself and learning. So walk me through that a little bit.
So I was at the facility with the Lions, trainers and PTs and all that, not being there every single day, but because of the extent of my injury, like no one's really had all that I've done to my knee and like actually gotten back to play.
Yeah.
And so there's no real protocol for it. It was just more of like I took the ACL protocol when I had, just a lot of stuff done.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where, because I had 2 back-to-back surgeries in like a 24-week period, I was non-weight bearing on this leg for like 18.
Okay.
And so the whole leg atrophied, but then my whole body basically atrophied too. I was basically just in bed for
sure.
The majority of the time. Not at all. And I was trying to be super protective too. And so like in me trying to protect it, just didn't really do anything with my whole body.
Yeah.
And so coming back from that, it was genuinely starting from the ground up. Like my feet didn't have the muscle to like walk. When I started walking again, like everything was just kind of jacked up. And yeah, so coming back from there, I just didn't put my body together in the correct way. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just more, because I didn't even know like it was this bad either. I just assumed like I'm moving and it's going to make it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, this just wasn't the case. And so I was there for like a year and a half around there. And I ended up getting released in May of 2022, so last May. And then came back out here and was with the PT in Seattle for like 3 months. And she was, amazing. One of the best PTs I ever had. Yeah. But it was more like the small things that like we're kind of focusing on that didn't really get hit. You know, it was more just general mainstream, like other things, other disparities would just be seen, but like not really focused on. That's just how it was, you know? And yeah, so I thought I was going to be back in the league last summer. And then that just didn't end up happening. I could still feel that my body wasn't put together properly. Like I could have played, but I knew it would have been detrimental to my health for sure in the long run. So I decided to take the year off and continue just to work on myself. And by that time, I kind of ran out of funds, so I just became my own physical therapist and worked on my body in a bunch of different ways. Started doing lots of yoga, just mobility training, trying to open up my body. And that helped a lot too. But then, I got with you and Cynthia, which was a blessing. Like, honestly, I think, my car broke down, which is why I started going to Antioch. And then, that's when I met, like, I really got reconnected with y'all again.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, y'all just, it took me in with open arms. Amazing. Much appreciated.
For sure, man, for
sure. But, just to work out, you were actually able to muscle test and find the individual muscles that weren't firing, and then your knowledge of training to like be like, okay, if this muscle isn't firing, like we need to do A, B, and C to like get it going again. How to get it strengthened and get it just a neuromuscular connection like back again.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the process that we've been on, making progress every week, which I think is dope. You can see it, Cynthia can see it too, and so two separate eyes, but are seeing the same things. We're going at it in different ways, and like it's a great team around me right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love working. Shout out to Cynthia Rainey, Lake Washington PT. It's cool because so Hunter and I we go to the same church. We went to the same church when we were younger. He's a little younger than me, so like we didn't really interact. But I knew who he was. He recognized me. Then Cynthia Rainey, she also goes to our church, and so. When he came back, we started talking, and I was like, man, just come on in. Let me see what's going on with you. Give you a quick assessment. We'll kind of start working on some stuff. He said he was also going to go see Cynthia. I was like, perfect. I know Cynthia. And so it's been really cool because we've been able to all link together, text each other, say, hey, this is what I'm seeing with Hunter, or this is what I'm seeing. And, can you check on this with what you got going on? Because, right, I'm coming at it from a muscle system specialist point of view. She's coming at it from a personal trainer, or not personal trainer, physical therapist point of view. And so we each have our own modalities that we can use, and it's been really cool to kind of corroborate. It's I usually do this at night. It's the morning right now, so hard for me to talk. But yeah, corroborate together to really help you out. But one thing I want to note on was when you first came in, right? You had told me like, I've been doing it on my own for a while now, just trying to figure things out. Like I'm doing some research and trying to learn, and I'm just working with what my body's telling me, which I thought was so cool, right? One thing I always say to people when they first come in, it was, your body has all the answers. I have to ask the right questions, right? And so for you to be able to have the answers within you, but you're also asking your body those questions, it just made it so much easier for me to roll in to what you were already doing for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of times people come in and they're like, yeah, I have no clue what's going on. I'm like, all right, cool. So we just got to start at ground base and try to work through it. But with you, you're like, yeah, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling this, which can then, like, you're already giving me answers, right? When you first come in. And I didn't have to pry too much on the questions and then, trying to figure things out. And so we were able to just kind of roll right into it. And because of all the work that you've done on your own, you knew immediately, what is progressing you, right? Like you just have like a understanding of your body and how your body and your system works that you just can tap right into that, right? So as we're working on stuff, I'm like, hey, I really want you to, squeeze through your glute here, or I want you to, um, you know, keep this still, move this piece. Like you knew how to do that pretty quickly, right? It wasn't something that I really had to teach you. But I think that just attests to all the stuff that you were doing beforehand. So that corroboration really, it's not just me and Cynthia, but it's me, Cynthia, and you, because you have been just as much a part of what we've been doing because you're so dedicated to getting better. And that was long before we even stepped in, right? So it made our job easier as professionals because you've already been doing the work, right? It was for us, when you first came in, you talked to me, you're like, yeah, I just feel like yeah, there's something going on with my knee. You're like, right, when I'm running, I'm making cuts, I can feel it. It just feels unstable. There's something going on there. You're like, I've gone to other PTs and seen other people, and they're like clearing me, and you're like, that's cool, but I feel something, and like that speaks so highly of our own bodies, right? We can go see all these people, you can come see me, and at the end of the day, if you're like, I still feel this thing, I can't tell you, well, I checked this and this, there's nothing going on there, right? If you're feeling something, you're feeling something. So I took that and was like, okay, well, we gotta figure out what that is. I think the cool thing about what I do is, you told me the knee, and I immediately didn't look at your knee, right? I looked at your ankle, I looked at your hip, I looked at your trunk and spine, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, there's probably instability in your knee, but let's look at this stuff going on in your foot. Let's look at the stuff going on in your hip. And since then, you're like, hey, my knee's doing pretty good, right? And so, if for me, it just felt like I was just doing little like tune-ups, right? The bulk of what was going on with your knee, like, yeah, you would fix that. PTs you'd work with, they'd help with that. For me, it was just like, okay, cool. Let me just kind of come in and tighten this bolt and loosen this one and connect this hose, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but just the ability to find like everything that needed tightening and needed fixing and needed to tune up is incredible.
Yeah,
like you said, like everyone would look at this knee and like be like, okay, like that's a problem, and not kind of everywhere else, because the muscle and the body is connected everywhere. You feel me?
Yeah.
And you understand that better than a lot of people who I have worked with before.
Yeah. So still appreciate it, man. So what's the process of you going forward now? Right.
So really just continuing to kind of finish my body and like tune everything up, because I truly did like start everything from like the ground up. I built it from scratch, and it's kind of like building like a car, like got all your different parts, and like you really got one like out of the junkyard instead of like getting one kind of like already built. You feel me? Like I used car lot or something. So like my body was like fresh out of a junkyard. Like after me blowing out my knee, the car accident, like both those surgeries in a 6-month period, like I was broken. You feel me? And so really putting everything together from the ground up, and now we're really just fine tuning everything before we get it back out and do what it wants to do.
Yeah.
And I think mine's interesting because I'm I'm going back to the NFL. And that's like, the top 1% of the 1%. And so you could put like the car together almost perfectly, but if something's not firing right, it's going to eventually, just break down for me at some point.
Yep.
And so, I think now we're just fine tuning every little thing and getting it ready so it can perform how we want it to perform. And I think it's cool too, because I've been there before, so I kind of know what I need to do.
Yeah, for sure.
How I need to prepare and what I need to be ready for before I really step back into that arena.
Yeah, I bet being there already, one, gives you that hunger to keep pushing, because you're like, I know I have the skill to be there.
Oh yeah.
Two, you know what it takes to be there. You know the demand that's going to be on your body, right? You played the whole season. Outside the injuries, but you were there for the whole season. You knew what practice was going to be like. You know how organization runs and everything. So, you're like, I know the demands that need to be put on my body, right? And so you've been fine tuning all those things because you know what it takes, you know what it's gonna do to your body. So I think that's such a advantage you have over someone who's like trying to get in the league right now, right? You know what it is, and you still think, yeah, my body can do this. That's awesome, dog. Like, I'm so excited to watch this journey and see you progress and go forward with that because, man, it's been such a blessing working with you, and just seeing the skill that you have and seeing the drive and the dedication to your sport. You know, it's been motivating for me for my own sport. You know, I'm not competing at the high level of UFC, but I want to compete. Like, whether it is just some amateur fight, at a local casino, or if I'm, fighting down there at the UFC training center or whatever. Like, I want to compete at such a pace or such a level that people understand the dedication I have to the craft, right? Granted, I haven't taken the fight yet, so just getting into it. I should be doing a jiu-jitsu tournament soon, though. So, but hopefully, fight comes next year. But for real, like that, like watching you, someone who is at a high level, and seeing your mentality, I pull from that, right? I think all my athletes that come in, I pull from them in some way or another.
And they pull from you too, because just the same mentality that you take with your training and like how you work and how you come in every day just ready to grind. Like, I feed off of that too. Yeah, all your athletes feed off of that too. So
appreciate that. I mean, that's what it is, right? That's what I love about athletics, right? And sports is, we all are a part of it. We're all in it together. We're all there to motivate each other and push each other. And, for fighting and stuff, it's individual. You're the only one out there, but your team plays a huge factor in that, right? Like, you wouldn't be out there if your teammates weren't helping you, in the gym and preparing for that and everything. And so, that camaraderie, man, it's intoxicating, having that. And I can't wait for when you're done and then you come over and you start fighting with us.
Yeah, so much fun. I can't wait. Next off season for sure.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun, boy. I ain't gonna try to get punched by him though, I'll tell you that much.
You're gonna teach me how to punch. It's dangerous.
Man. Anything else you want to talk or that you think about as you're going forward into getting back out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's dope. I mean, just how a lot of people will look at my career and notice all like the injuries I had or all the setbacks, but you can so easily flip that perspective and just focus on all the healing that's happened because of it. And that healing wouldn't have been able to happen without the injuries or the setbacks or any of that. And so, yeah, like our setbacks are truly a blessing. Like, you can learn from it and grow from it and get 10 times stronger than before. Just how, like, when a bone breaks, like, it heals back and it's almost impossible to break the bone in the same spot. But that's literally our whole body. We're so resilient. We're so just, wonderfully made. Intricately made. And it's kind of amazing just to really dive into the body and see all of that. And so, I mean, I wouldn't have had the same connection with my body if I didn't have all that. So,
for sure.
Truly, I'm thankful. For anybody else, going through injuries, all that, really take this opportunity with an open mind to see how you can truly get better and truly grow and find out what's not firing right, so you could really elevate your game to a level that you've never seen before, like pre-injury.
Yeah, that's powerful, man.
That's like that.
That's good. Cool. I appreciate you, Hunter. Thanks for coming on the podcast. We about to squat because it is Squat-tober. You know what I'm saying? Right. Shout out to Sore Necks. You know what I'm saying? Putting out Squat-tober. It's about to be a good day. We've got a couple of things to do, but other than that, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Appreciate you.